Welcome to virtual Japan as we are here today for round number 6.
Oh, Pearson gets into the 95 of Folks. Here comes the caution.
Flag is dropped here at Daytona and away. Joe for the first time. Nicholas Morcel, Sean.
Looks like most get through unscathed. Look at that, there's Reed Gibson. A big move at the inside line of Dom's, possibly a little bit of contact.
Up now as we've got 3-wide action going through turns 1 and 2.
And they're underway. Eric Hahn takes a nice jump. Wilson hasn't let him go very far.
Go out here for circuit disqualifying Alex Johnson's off to a brilliant start there.
See just how oddly shaped this one is. We saw in the background Eric Hahn go for a bit of a swing, and he's gone and he's over.
Smooth stuff. Cody Graham's the one-on-one up into second place. Alex Johnson 6/10 lead at the moment.
They're dicey up front. There's Andrew Kessel, Justin Sang.
They are ready to go. The lights are out and away we go for the very first time here at Okayama International Circuit. Finley Fitzsimmons.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the Alpha Touring Challenge, Season 9 of North America's largest front-wheel drive series. Today, we're at the virtual Long Beach Street Course for another fantastic race here today. Round 11 at the street circuit, and it's going to be a good one. As always, I'm your host, James East, bringing the action on behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, 1080p, 60 frames a second. And if the fans remember, Season 8, Long Beach was this season opener. I believe we saw 43 drivers come out last season. It looks like about 28 drivers here today, but guaranteed to be another good night of fireworks out on track here today. Let us know where you're from, who you're cheering on. Drivers will frequently have their broadcast pulled up on a separate monitor, and if not, they just about always go back and review the tape. As you see, qualifying is coming to a close here today. And it is a 60-minute feature event here today, so we're not doing the sprint format. So it is going to be one long run to decide who brings it home. Now, coming into tonight, a couple of important updates. James Carr not able to make his way out on track here this evening, so he will be missing this second to last round of the season. And as a reminder as well to the fans, the final race of the season cannot be dropped. So after today, the drop weeks are going to be essentially frozen in place, so you cannot skip that final round. Francois Schink mathematically eliminated if he is 70 points off after today. Keep an eye on that number 18 machine. He's currently qualified second out on track here. And it looks like, if I'm understanding this right, Ian Diaz Bertolucci has locked up the rookie championship coming into today. The top team championship, still pretty interesting. Curb Your Enthusiasm Autosport out front with 1,128 points. Yellow Flag Motorsport second in the team points. And Breakfast for Dinner sitting third in the points. Drivers are going to be looking to make some big ground tonight. Logan McKenzie, Micah Hendricks, second and third in points, separated by 1 point between them. Only about 15 points back from James Carr. They're looking to maximize on Carr being off track here today and see if they can make this championship a little bit closer. Speaking of, it's time to go racing here at Long Beach. On pole, it's Micah Hendricks in the number 1 machine. Francois Schink starting second. David Power starting third. Logan McKenzie starts fourth. Connor Achatella starting fifth. Matt Zepka starting 6th. Edward Gorman starting 7th. Eric Staitzer starts 8th. Mike De Almeida starting 9th. Mark Darnell starting 10th. John Lawson starts 11th. Damon Mitchell starting 12th. Cycling on back, we've got Ian Diaz Bertolucci starting 13th. Jesse Olsen starts 14th. Brian Saab starting 15th. Raymond Toe starts 16th. Brian Sohn starting 17th. Ben Aiken starts 18th. Kevin Clark starting in the 19th position. Trevor Lambert-Lee starting 20th. Christian Ost starting 21st. Dom Savio starts 22nd. Luke Philippone starts 23rd. Jason Lynn starts 24th. And we're going to cycle it back one final time. Mark Schrader starting 25th. Daniel Cedino starts 26th. Kurt Smith starts 27th. And Daniel Cedeno starting 28th here today. 28 drivers making their way out on track. And it is going to be a good one. 60 minutes is what we're going to run till the timer has clicked off. And here we go, the Long Beach Street Circuit, the Alpha Touring Challenge. We get ready for the lights to come on. Looks like Kurt Smith, Daniel Cedino, and Luke Philippone are going to be not joining us here. Micah Hendricks with a good launch, but Francois Schink is going to take over the lead here. Now keep an eye out heading into the fountain. I'm predicting things get a little bit dicey. Schink with a comfortable lead being chased by Hendricks. Very impressed with these drivers. It looks like everybody, yeah, maybe not. Starting to get through here. A little bit of stop and go traffic here at Long Beach. And drivers are bumping and grinding all across the track, trying to get this worked out. You're watching Aaron Law and Kevin Clark battling for 22nd place. Law up 4 positions in that 38. Ian Diaz Bertolucci trying to fend off Brian Saab, Raymond Toe, Christian Ost in the mix. A few drivers have had good success early on, gaining 4 positions. But you can already hear some drivers starting to tag the walls here at Long Beach. We got charisma here tonight. I think that may be a James Carr joining us from the spectator area. We'll try and get a word from him. Even better if we can somehow get Carr up here in the broadcast booth later on. Heard a little bit of a bobble there. That was Ashetel in the 55 tagging that wall. Matt Zepka in the 490 machine trying to close the gap. And back to Achatella, Zepka side by side in the battle for 5th. Zepka looks like he's going to grab the spot here as they're too wide into the fountain. Not a place knowing to be forgiving for these drivers. Achatella holding on to the 5th place spot. Zepka's going to have to try and get another run at it because here comes Edward Gorman. And the 137 trying to capitalize. Not too far behind them. That's Eric Staitzer. Mike De Almeida trying to close the gap. And my guess was correct with Carr joining us in the spectator area. Carr does not want to see Micah Hendricks take away this race uncontested. But right now, it's Francois Schink, the number 18 machine in the top spot. Schink needs to maximize some points here. If he leaves tonight, 74 points or more in the deficit, he is done and out of this championship. Right now, you're watching the battle for about 5th place back. Achatella leading this freight train. There's the top 4. About 3 seconds ahead here of Achatella. David Bauer just clicks off the fastest lap of the race, a 127.28. So these top 4 drivers starting to get in a bit of a groove here and get comfortable. There's Francois Schink getting chased by Micah Hendricks. Schink holds about 0.3 of a second over Hendricks. Looked like Hendricks was trying to look for an opportunity to put the nose in. He's going to do it under braking. Hendricks takes over the top spot. Schink falls back to 2nd. David Bauer looking hungry to get a little bit further up inside the top 3. They've been managed to shake off Logan McKenzie and the 04 machine. Oh, and you can see that was Francois there dragging some hard parts against the left side of his machine. And that looked like David Bauer, I believe, was putting that front bumper to play against Francois Schink. Here we go, crossing the start-finish line at Long Beach. And it looks like, if I'm seeing that right, Hendricks, yes, clicks off the fastest lap on 127.275. David Bauer is going to work really hard here to keep those top 2 from getting a breakaway. But already, Hendricks and Schenck have built up about a 6/10 advantage over David Bauer's 35 machine. So James Carr in the spectator area, unfortunately, will not be able to hop in the booth tonight. He's actually out of country. But he's thinking Schenck is going to try and fuel save behind Hendricks, and that's going to prevent McKenzie from doing too much fuel saving. We've seen McKenzie currently running 4th out on track do some pretty wild things with fuel management in the past. Going to be interesting to see what he can do here at the street circuit. Still 25 drivers out on track. We've had a couple of drivers come down pit road. Luke Philippone, Brian Sohn. Christian Oates is still down pit road. We go back to a heated battle for 12th. You're watching Jesse Olsen, the number 16 machine, being chased by Mitchell, Bertolucci, Raymond Toe, Brian Saab all in the mix here. Hendricks out front once again, clicking off the fastest lap of the race, feeling very comfortable here at the street circuit. I've got to say, Long Beach, for a lot of drivers on iRacing, can be a bit of an intimidating track, especially in the high horsepower cars. But let me tell you, in an Alpha Touring Challenge car, or even one of the Spec Miatas, something a little bit more reliant on mechanical grip and low horsepower, this track is an absolute blast to rip around on, but does not reward any mistakes. No runoff to be found here. Now, it looks like Christian Oates is going to take a tow back to pit road. Not quite sure what happened to him there. Let's get that replay queued up. That's an interesting way to pull over. Dan McFarland joined us saying Micah Hendricks is gone. And he would be correct. Hendricks has pulled a 6/10 advantage over Schenck. Schenck now facing fire from Bauer. Oh, we got another crash report as well. This time it's Kevin Clark. The number 89 machine. Is it going to be through a hard hit to the car there, but just misses the turn-in, I think, following the fountain. And decides to sign off rather aggressively. Demka trying to make moves here in the top 5. He's chasing Connor Achetel in the 55. About 2/10 separating these drivers. Now I'm curious to see, can Francois Schenck close that 3/4 of a second deficit that he has to Hendricks? Because if he starts to take too much fire from David Bauer in the 35, it's going to really slow the pace down and allow Hendricks quite a healthy breakaway. Now Achetel on camera here. A little over 3 seconds back from Logan McKenzie, running in a very strong 4th. And man, look how clean the cars look here at Long Beach. The livery's really popping off the screen. I see another battle starting to shape up. It's Damon Mitchell and Ian Diaz-Bertolucci battling for the 13th place spot. Looks like Raymond Toe also trying to get in the mix here. Oh, Bertolucci was trying to make his way around there, but now it's going to be Raymond Toe sticking his nose in. Hendricks, we're going to be saying this a lot, but again, the fastest lap of the race. And I believe we're going to be repeating that fun fact quite a bit by the time this is all said and done. Now, since McFarland and James Carr in the spectator area, maybe they can give us a little bit of insight on what the fuel window may be for these drivers, especially for somebody such as Micah Hendricks, who's not doing any fuel saving, but not really shaking off Schenck or Bauer here. Oh, we've got problems for Jason Lynn. Found himself pointing the wrong direction. Let's see what happened to Lynn in the 661 machine. Just cooks it in way too deep and has to do the old Austin Power turn to get that thing back out on track. The fans are predicting that McKenzie is the one to watch for fuel saving here at Long Beach, predicting he's going to be back into second place following the first pit stop. And we also got the report as well, Zepka did make that move on Achitella. That's going to be his first spot gained, up one from his qualifying position. Hard charger out on track though. Bit of a surprise, Aaron Law in the 38 machine. He's up 6 spots. Right now, Aaron kind of in the what we call the no man's land. Nobody really ahead of him. There's Trevor Lamberlee, 8 seconds ahead. He's about 11.5 seconds up over Mark Schrader, a newcomer here at the AlphaTouring Challenge. So good to see Schrader hopping off the oval cars and trying something different on a road course. Jesse Olsen still getting chased by Raymond Toe just ahead of him. That is Damon Mitchell and Ian Diaz Bertolucci tucked in nose to tail. Oh, it looks like Bertolucci's going to grab the inside line. Can he hold it? Looks like he will against Damon Mitchell. That would be Bertolucci's first position gained, and he tags the outside wall. Mitchell had to check up a little bit. But things are starting to get a little bit hairy in the battle for 12th. Mitchell fired back against Bertolucci. Jesse Olsen, Raymond Toe right here, ready to party, following nose to tail through the fountain. And Toe closing the gap here up to Olsen. Not a ton of straightaways here at Long Beach, but plenty of times for drivers to kind of set things up for the next corner, see if they're going to make something happen under braking. And you can just see, I believe that's Mark Darnell, John Lawson ahead of this pack. Bertolucci trying to get set up again against Damon Mitchell. While this has been going on, Francois Schink has reeled back in Micah Hendricks to within 0.2 of a second. Looks like Schink getting a little bit racy here, actually completes the pass. Wonder if there's a little bit of leapfrog in here for fuel saving. David Bauer still right there with him. Oh, I just heard somebody wad it up out of camera angle. Trying to see where that might have been. That may have been Jason Lynn, I think. I heard the tires squealing. Oh, Lynn got a little bit of help there. Is at least pointing the right direction by the time it's all said and done, but Lynn definitely does not want any damage on that 661 machine. So the fan predictions is the fuel window going to be around between lap 17 to lap 21, depending on strategy amongst these drivers. And a freight train out of that final chicane. You're watching John Laws in the number 77 machine, chased by Mitchell, Bertolucci, Olsen, Toe, Saab. All here in a nice tidy line. Now we had the fans to ask for a bit of a review here, so we're going to do just that and explore what happened to Jason Lynn. And yes, that was Logan McKenzie getting into the back of him here. Micah Hendricks in second, has company from David Power. We're expecting a two-stop race here this evening, so we're going to see lots of pretty wild things on fuel strategy. Francois Schink has a 1.1 second gap up over Hendricks. Schink needs all the points he can get here today. David Bauer wants to get up there in that hunt. Bauer does not have a win so far this season. Bauer trying to muscle his way up into second. Gets edged out there by Hendricks. They're going to follow and tiptoe through the fountain, nose to tail once more, but this has given Francois Schink quite a healthy breakaway. 2 seconds up over this battle for second. And Bauer looks very, very hungry here. As James Carr is saying, please don't punt Hendricks, Bauer. Now, was it David Bauer? I think he even said that he was going to show up as a ringer tonight to, quote, throw a wrench in the championship. I want to make sure that was Bauer that said that, so he's not too falsely accused, but I'm fairly certain that's who said it. Bauer trying to take over the second place. Does it clean there? Bauer up into second. Micah Hendricks showing, oh, it briefly showed us the undercut as if he was coming down pit road. I'm not sure if he had connection issues or what the problem there was, but Bauer's going to get a big breakaway, 0.8 of a second up over Hendricks, who's now down 2 spots. And Francois Schink almost 3 seconds ahead now. Aaron Law has come down pit road. Oh, look at this traffic jam in the fountain. That's Bertolucci, Lawson, Toe, Olsen. Now, yes, to the fans' credit, Hendricks has something going on. He's now 2.3 seconds back from Bauer. Almost 5 seconds back from Francois Schink. I'm wondering if Hendricks is looking at his fuel usage and saying, we've got to change something to stay on strategy. And throwing out the anchor a little bit. A massive sin by Raymond Toe goes terribly wrong. Jesse Olsen was definitely involved in that. Toe takes a toe back down pit road. Olsen also takes a toe. Who was at fault there? Oh, that was Jesse Olsen. Sent it very, very hard, and toe completely obliterated there. So it looked like Olsen was going from the inside line, grabbed too much of the inside, pushed him back out onto a hot track, and ruined the night of Raymond. So unfortunately, both Olsen and Toe will take a tow back to pit road. John Laws and Brian Saab are completing some green flag pit stops around that lap 14 mark. I don't think Ray even had the chance to see that one coming. So for the fans kind of asking what on earth just happened there, looked like Olsen and me was going for the inside line, grabbed a little bit too much of the apron, tagged the wall, and that projectiled his car back to the racing line. And Porto just no opportunity to react. I mean, there was nothing he could have done besides hold on to the wheel and see where he's going to end up. Unfortunately, it was in the tire barrier, and that machine just got chewed all up here. Checking in on Francois Schink. Rocking and rolling up front, 3.6 seconds up over David Bauer. 5.5 seconds up over Micah Hendricks. Now, I'm not sure what's happening as far as fuel strategy goes for these drivers. I think we're seeing strategies all across the board here at Long Beach. Bertolucci keeping the pressure on Mark Darnell. This is going to be the battle for 10th out on screen. Bertolucci about 2/10 behind Darnell. Going to be interesting to see. Bertolucci's had great pace here. He's up 2 spots. Looked like both Darnell and Bertolucci there had a little bit of problem getting the power down. And Darnell extends that gap by about 3/4. So it looks like Darnell a little bit faster going into the fountain. Now we are expecting the fuel window to open for these drivers next time by, so it's going to be interesting to see who starts the green flag pit cycles. Now John Laws and Brian Saab came down pit road mighty early, lap 13. Aaron Law also came down pit road on lap 12, so maybe there's a couple different strategies to keep an eye on here. Bertolucci doing everything he can to pressure Darnell's number 83 machine. Ooh, Bertolucci making it stick and rather clean there. Darnell just seemed to miss the mark completely. Zepka in the 490 machine, he's been having a good charge here. He's caught up to the back of Logan McKenzie's 04 machine. Mark Darnell takes this opportunity to come down pit road for a green flag stop. McKenzie and Zepka battling just inside the top 5. We're on board with Zepka in that 490 machine. Ooh, mindful of the wall there. Zepka came into tonight 7th in points. He's about 50 points back from Dan McFarland, who runs in 6th. So Zepka could have a good points night here. Now we are going to start the green flag stops for our race leaders. Schink, Bauer, Hendricks down pit road. What's Logan McKenzie going to do? McKenzie and Zepka also down pit road. Looks like Achatella stays out. Gorman, Staitzer down pit road. Almeida down pit road. Bertolucci down pit road. So far, Achatella the only driver in the top 10 opting to stay out here. Damon Mitchell's also going to stay out for another lap as Ben Aiken, Trevor Lambert-Lee come down pit road. Dom Savio coming down pit road for his first stop. Big thumbs up to James Carr for calling the pit cycle ahead of time. So now it's Achatella and Mitchell. Look at this. Francois Schink, a very fast pit stop time. 12.97 seconds. Everybody else right around 15.6 to 15.9 second pit stop times. Let me get that pulled up on the screen here for you. So there's the total pit lane time. By the time the drivers cross the entry cone to the times they get out of pit road, Schink just about 3 seconds faster than anybody else out on track. Achatella down pit road. Let's see if Damon Mitchell follows suit. Where is Achatella going to be? Francois Schink, I think, is going to have a very comfortable lead after this first round of pit stops, especially with the majority of the field being on the same strategy. There goes Mitchell down pit road, so Schink will take over the race lead here at Long Beach. Let's see, Bauer, 5.3 seconds back from Francois Schink. Micah Hendricks, 2.7 seconds back from Bauer. McKenzie still holding on to fourth. Zepka's going to be about 1.1 seconds behind him. Man, Francois Schink getting the tail end of that car way up in the air. And I agree with the fans here. I was expecting, frankly, I was expecting the fuel strategies to be much different than what we just saw. I wonder if maybe this stint we're going to see some more fuel saving. We've got just over 30 minutes left to go in this feature event. We're watching Achatella and Edward Gorman battling for sixth. Now, Micah Hendricks did just click off the fastest lap, a 126.19. About 0.05 of a second faster than anybody else can do. So we're splitting a little bit of hairs here. Bauer did a 126.24, so the pace definitely up there amongst these drivers. But it seems like it's mostly towards the back. We're seeing some heated action. Now, we also got to report Eric Staitzer was involved in some sort of incident. We're going to get the replay queued up there on that 789 machine. Looks like he's going to be by himself. And no incident to report. Looks like sometimes the iRacing software, broadcast software, just gets it wrong sometimes, especially in that final chicane. I got to agree with McFarland. That was a nice tight angle through the hairpin. Being able to see the trackside photographers tracking the action. As we're watching Darnell still trying to fend off Bertolucci. Brian Saab, the number 52 machine, trying to close the gap as well. Oh, and there's contact between Bertolucci and Darnell. Here comes Brian Saab. He's going to take advantage. He's going to have a much better run out of the corner. Saab trying to pick up a little bit of a draft off Bertolucci. Bertolucci defends. Is that number 52 machine going to hop out of line, going to the fountain, takes a peek, thinks better of it. Now, Mark Darnell, despite getting tagged in the corner panel, definitely got the best end of that possible, as he's extended that gap to Bertolucci about 9/10 of a second. And the battle between Achatel and Gorman continues to blaze on here. Gorman trying to keep the pressure on the 55, nose to tail through the fountain. Achatel doing a good job here. He's down one spot from where he qualified, but making Gorman fight for every 100th of a second gain. An interesting point, the fans asking maybe Hendricks tagged a barrier and has some sort of damage, but he was only in his pit stall about 6/10 longer than the rest of the field. I mean, that's just slight enough. I'm hesitant to say that's damage repair, because I would imagine if he still has that amount of damage, he would still be trying to fight through it. Bertolucci, oh, narrowly grabbing the spot from Darnell there. Our Charger out on track, still Aaron Law in that number 38. He has gained 8 positions over the course of this main event. And now the fans are saying, hey, Hendricks' pace has really dropped off, but he just clicked off a 126.07, again the fastest lap of the race. Just shy of a quarter of a second faster than anybody else on the circuit. We check back in on Hendricks. He's got clean track, but he is almost 3.8 seconds back from David Bauer. I'm very confused by what we're seeing here. But a question for Carr and McFarland, who are in the spectator area. If he used that fast repair, would he have had the same length pit stop as anybody else? I wish Mason was here, because the numbers, he knows what they mean. As we watch Hendricks continue to click off very fast laps here. Hendricks getting very, very close to track limits. You can hear him dragging the hard parts against the walls. I'm curious to see, as long as the fans watching along here at Long Beach, can Hendricks catch back up to Bauer? We're expecting one more fuel stop for these drivers to make it till the end, I believe. Looks like Edward Gorman continuing to keep the pressure on Achatella. These drivers really haven't broken that 0.3 of a second gap between them most of the time. Now still plenty of racing left, and we've seen crazier things happen here at the Alpha Touring Challenge, where there's been some late race moves, some late race mistakes that can make things a little bit tougher for these drivers. And again, we've touched on it a couple times, but Francois Schink desperately needed the points here tonight to keep his title hopes alive. Because again, if he leaves tonight, if he is 74 points or more off following Long Beach, he mathematically cannot win the championship. Now James Carr, your points leader, he's joined us in the spectator area. Dan McFarland, who's 6th in points, also in the spectator area. But this could be a big points night for McKenzie and Hendricks, knowing that next week, the season finale, we will not be dropping anything, and that is Circuit Zolder, the Grand Prix course, with 2 sprint races that will help us decide and crown a champion. Now I believe that's a little bit of lap traffic ahead of Achatella and Gorman. Is that maybe Brian Sohn? Yes, it is. The number 30 machine hopping out of the way. Seeing there is a battle for 6th on circuit. Does not want to unfairly inject himself into that party. Francois Schink just clicked off his fastest lap of the race on 126.10. Last time by, I'm curious to see. Schink is carrying a pretty fast pace here. He's 5 seconds up over David Bauer. Bauer about 3.5 up over Hendricks. And the top 5 very well and spread out. I think this is going to definitely come down to the final pit stop. Now, most drivers came in around lap 17 or 18. Really, most drivers in lap 17. Just a couple came down pit road on 18. And one of those is, of course, who we're focused on, Connor Achatella, the 55. 1 lap later than majority of the field. They're going to have more lap traffic ahead of them. That's Aaron Law coming out of pit road. That is Aaron's 2nd stop of the night, so he should be good to go on fuel till the end of this thing. Achatella has built up a little bit of breathing room over Gorman, the 137. A little bit further back, still a battle for 12th underway. Mark Darnell, Brian Saab. Darnell down 2 spots, Saab up 2 spots. Damon Mitchell coming down pit road once more in the number 27 as we're beating and banging here. Darnell with a little bit of a bobble has put Saab back in striking distance. Mitchell back out on track. Now we've unfortunately had several drivers with early retirements here tonight. Jesse Olsen, Raymond Toe, Jason Lynn, Kevin Clark, Christian Oss, all retiring. Kurt Smith, Daniel Cedino did not start here tonight. James Garr calling estimated pit stops on lap 34-35. And really, drivers, I don't think left themselves too much room here as far as strategy goes. Looked like Brian Saab was leaning on that back right corner panel of Darnell. They're going to get around Bertolucci, who's down pit road for the second time here tonight, the 51 machine. Got to echo the fans here. Long Beach takes no prisoners from anybody. Saab still pressuring Darnell. Darnell trying to minimize the mistakes here. Saab still trying to get that 4/10 of a deficit back in his favor. Gains a little bit here, heavy braking in turn one. Gaining about of a 1/10 on Darnell, but quickly going the other way. Accordion effect back and forth. These drivers are so close on braking zones. And not a lot of room. Something has happened. Ian Diaz Bertolucci shows taking a tow back to pit road. What happened to the 51 machine? Cooks it in a little bit hot and says, you know what? I think I'd like to go home now. Oh, insult on top of injury. Loses the rear wing there. Oh, here we go. Aiken and Darnell side by side. Something happened to Darnell as he lost the spot from Saab and Aiken. Wonder if there was a mistake here. Maybe a bit of a slowdown, I wonder? It sure looked like Darnell was having to bleed off time there, so I would imagine he got some sort of a slowdown penalty as he loses 3 spots overall, falling back to 13th. Francois Schink down pit road for the final time here tonight. David Bauer opts to stay out. What about Hendricks? What about McKenzie? They're going to stay out. Bauer just set the fastest lap of the race with the clean arrow, 125.956 for that number 35 machine. Showing 7 seconds ahead of Hendricks, almost 10 up over McKenzie. Schink getting out of his pit stall, 12 seconds flat. Hendricks has lost about 3 seconds behind David Bauer the last lap or so. John Lawson in pit road for his final time. We've got about 15 minutes left to go in this feature event. So David Bauer, a commanding lead here, 7 seconds up over the rest of the field. Looks like Bauer's going to stay out another lap. Hendricks is going to do the same. Hendricks 7 seconds back from David Bauer. Bauer was looking for his first win of the season. I want to say he was the driver coming to throw a wrench in championship plans, and if he was the driver who said that, he is absolutely delivering on the promise. Ryan Saab down pit road for the final time tonight. Francois Schink, after his pit stop, he has fallen back to 9th. But everybody ahead of that number 18 machine still needs to come down pit road one final time. Bauer continuing to stay out here in the 35 machine. 13 minutes left to go. Still waiting for other drivers inside the top 8 to complete their final fuel stops. Here we go. Ben Aiken, Mark Darnell down pit road for their final stops. Still waiting on 8 people inside the top 10. 9 people in the top 10 to complete their final fuel stops. Francois Schink, the only driver in the top 10 who has boxed for the second time here this evening. Time is rapidly clicking off for these drivers. Mikey Hendricks down pit road for the final time here this evening. McKenzie stays out. Zepka stays out. What about Achitella? What about Edward Gorman? Statzer? De Almeida? Are they going to come down pit road? No, they're going to stay out. We pan the camera back to Francois Schink, who's getting caught up with drivers who have yet to box ahead of him. He's got Statzer and Almeida right ahead. Has to be careful on choosing when to make those passes. Schink will be on track ahead of Hendricks following that final pit stop by about a 6-7 second advantage. Bertolucci unfortunately joined us from the spectator area. Always love talking to Bertolucci. Just hate seeing it prematurely in a race such as Long Beach. Such a likable driver. David Bauer, Matt Zepka down pit road for the final time. McKenzie stays out even longer. Looks like Achatella is going to stay out in the 55 machine, so we're finally seeing some different fuel strategy here. Eric Staitzer down pit road. So we're finally seeing the majority of the field come down pit road for the final time. McKenzie and Achatella, first and second, still need to box, I believe, to make it till the end. I just can't possibly see them saving that much fuel. But look at this battle. Francois Schink, David Bauer, bumping and grinding out of the fountain. Schink comes out on top. Bauer's going to pay him back here. This could very well be the battle for the lead by the time it's all said and done. Ahead of these two drivers, McKenzie and Achatella, we know they're going to come down pit road one final time. Bauer is not in the running for a points championship, but we are waving a possible first season race win ahead of that number 35 machine, so he's going to pull out all the stops. McKenzie comes down pit road for the final time. Does Achatella follow? No, looks like the 55 machine's going to stay out yet another lap. Trying to put himself ahead of any possible shenanigans. McKenzie rolls out of pit road. Looks like he's going to be fourth out on track. And he will be ahead of Micah Hendricks here. So Hendricks, who was the kind of odds-on favorite to do really well here, now finds himself outside of a podium position as he's got Logan McKenzie hot on his heels. Achatella still has to come down pit road one final time, but that should put Francois Schink back as the race leader. Corey Hudson joined us from the spectator area. Thank you, Corey. Not sure if I got the flu or what up here in the broadcast booth, but it's been ailing me for a little bit over, coming up on a week now, I think. I'm a little bit more stuffy than my normal cheerful self. McKenzie trying to set something up against Hendricks. Hendricks is going to guard the inside line. It looks like lap traffic on the horizon for him. McKenzie getting a little bit sideways there. Avoids contact with Hendricks as they're side by side once more. Oh, this is going to be tight. You can see McKenzie trying to throw that car around, making the outside line work. McKenzie back up into fourth. Achatella still hasn't come down pit road for the final time. Oh, a huge bobble there from Hendricks. Very uncharacteristic. Through the fountain, he's going to lose a bunch of time there to McKenzie. And something else that's happening, David Bauer, I saw reeling in a little bit of time here against Francois Schink. Haven't seen that gap within a second for a little while, and he's right on the cusp there. So that, I believe, is going to be the battle for lead. Unless Achatella did something absolutely crazy, unless he can somehow save more fuel than anybody out on track. And no, Achatella is going to come down pit road for a splash and go. So that's going to put the race lead between Francois Schink and David Bauer here. 0.7 of a second separating the two. Bauer has good drive out of the final corner. Within 0.7 of a second of Schink starting to gain a little bit of ground. You see him holding the inside wall, trying to make that straight as small as possible. And look at that, Bauer, a 125. The first driver into the 125s here tonight is absolutely ripping in the number 35 machine. That is a full 0.3 faster than anybody else has gone out on track here tonight. Within a half second, all eyes on Bauer, knowing we've got less than 5 minutes left to go in this feature event. Schenk needs every point he can get to keep the championship hope alive. Bauer out here for the memes. He's out here for the dreams. He clicked off that fastest lap of the race, qualified third, has worked his way up into second, but now he sees the time going the other way. Francois Schenk. Oh, surely Bauer got a slowdown there. Dropping like a rock, almost 3 seconds back from Bauer. Excuse me, from Schenk. Bauer has some sort of massive, massive problem. Unless Schenk has issues in these final couple of laps, Bauer is not looking good for that first season race win. Schenk, a 126.04. Bauer, a 128.4, losing 2.4 seconds that last time by. So Bauer is hoping for a mistake out of Francois Schenk, but he's been so extremely smooth. So I'm trying to see. I think the white flag will come out next time by for Francois Schenk. 2.7 seconds up over Bauer. McKenzie looking good here tonight on strategy. He has worked his way up into third. That's another driver who needs every point he can get. And Micah Hendricks, not having the night he was looking for, has fallen back to fifth after running so strong, qualified at the tippy top spot. If Schenk can finish it up in front, that's going to keep his championship hopes alive and also give a little bit of advantage to McKenzie. I mean, the season finale next week, it's going to be close if all things stay the same. Carr, McKenzie, Hendricks, Schenk are all going to be in the mix here. The white flag will be out next time by for Francois Schenk. You can see David Bauer behind. Last time by, Bauer again a 125.81, gained 0.4 of a second on Schenk, but just going to be too little too late here as we get to the closing laps here at Long Beach. Schenk, who went with that undercut for the final stop on lap 30. Took a little bit more fuel than anybody else, a longer pit stop, but has put himself in a fantastic track position here. So let's see how this is going to work. The white flag should be out. And this is going to be it. Francois Schink 3 seconds up over David Bauer. As it looks like we still have 20 entries out on track driving around here. 6 drivers forced into an early retirement. And here comes Schink around the final couple of corners at Long Beach. And put your hands together. Francois Schink keeps the championship dreams alive here in Long Beach with a massive, massive win. David Bauer will get second, and Logan McKenzie will get the top 3. So well done to Francois Schink. A great drive. And we're going to get these guys up here to victory lane to let them tell us about their race here at Long Beach. We're waiting on Francois Schink, David Bauer, Logan McKenzie. And before we start to see the grandstand start to empty again, thank you to the fans who came out supporting these drivers as well as supporting the show here at the AlphaTauri Challenge. And I, for one, am looking forward to the season finale next week. I think this is going to be quite a dicey championship. I'm looking forward to getting a points update as well from these drivers. So let's see if I can get these drivers up here to victory lane. Now, for some reason, I can't move Logan McKenzie up here into the broadcast booth. Thank you, Mr. Carr, for the kind words. So again, we're waiting on Francois Schink, David Bauer, Logan McKenzie to make their way up here to the waiting room. And then we can get the podium interviews started. We've got Logan McKenzie join us. We're going to start things off with Mr. McKenzie in the 04 machine. Logan, a great race out there. We were expecting something maybe a little bit different on fuel strategy. You're known for pulling some pretty wild things as far as fuel management goes, but looked like everybody was on the same strategy to start here at Long Beach.
Yeah, nobody was going to be able to like turn it into a one-stop, so it became a how much fuel can you save to like shave off time on the second stop? I mean, there were people who pitted a lap or two before me, and then my teammate Connor, he pitted 2 laps after me there at the end. That's just how much more fuel he had. It was the fuel strategy saved me in the end from what was a pretty wretched race up until like the last 10 minutes.
Well, I mean, compared to last season, the season opener, we had 40 some odd cars, huge crashes, carnage and drama everywhere. Compared to that, you've got to be pretty pleased with how things went tonight.
Oh yeah, for sure. It was a much cleaner race all around. But at one point, it looked like I was gonna finish way back in P3, maybe P4, and Micah was going to win the race and just be much further up there in the championship battle with me and James. So, no, the pit stop there at the end, like, I had so many mistakes and run-ins with lapped cars that to even beat Micah is crazy. Yeah, that was a difficult race.
Well, really tidying up the points championship tonight. I mean, I haven't done the math. I'm sure you will later tonight or tomorrow and kind of get things dialed in. But between you, Carr, Hendricks, and now Francois, things have gotten really, really tight going to the final round next week.
Yeah, I think James is gonna have like maybe a 10-point lead, so not a whole lot. It's a sprint challenge, so he's like we're all gonna have to deal with an invert. So nobody can just drive up the road. It's not going to be straightforward for whoever wins the championship. Yeah, I'm just happy to even be in contention because I think around the 20-minute mark, I thought that going into next week I'd be 20 points back and they'd be level. So I'm not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth here or anything.
Well, awesome, Logan. I'm looking forward to the season finale. It's going to be a great one for you and the team. Before I let you go, who do you want to give a shout out to that helped make tonight's podium position possible for you?
Shout out to the whole Yellow Flag team because these guys were super eager this week and jumping into breaking down the track in team chat and finding out, what's the best way to enter pit lane, what's fuel saving look like. So no, I think we all benefited a little. I think Connor was able to stay ahead of Edward off of the fuel saving. So shout out to all those guys. We all worked together to get those top 10s today.
Awesome, Logan. A bunch of fun to watch from up here in the booth as well. You had a bunch of racers cheering all of you guys on from the spectator area. So congratulations on third and hope to have you back up here next week.
Thank you.
That was Logan McKenzie bringing it home and third. Up next, we've got David Bauer with number 35 machine. David, welcome. David, correct me if I'm wrong. Were you the driver that said you were going to come up here and ruin some championship implications?
I don't know that maybe I could have said it. I don't know. It sounds like something I might say.
There was somebody, and I swear it was you, that says, hey, I'm coming in as a ringer tonight to throw a wrench in everybody's plans. And, man, you were up here doing it. I mean, it was a great race. You were absolutely ripping, but it looked like maybe a slowdown kind of dashed that chance of the first season win for you.
Yep, 2 slowdowns and a meatball in the last 5 minutes.
That's not ideal. So with the meatball, David, I mean, do you think this second place is going to be negated with post-race penalties?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, if it's the same rule as black flags where it gives you the 40 seconds. But we'll see. We'll see how iRacing decides to calculate that out. So.
Well, it's going to be interesting. Now, David, I mean, this is a track that obviously just meshed with you well. Is that from tons of seat time here at Long Beach, just a natural talent when it comes to road courses? What was the reason we saw that 35 ripping so fast out on track?
I don't know. I've always loved Long Beach. I was actually considering not racing tonight, but saw that it was Long Beach, and so I had to hop in and see if I could give it a crack, and it looks like I still had something in me.
Well, it looked like a ton of fun out there. Already going to be seeing you to do the same thing next week. I mean, we've got 4 drivers heavy into a championship battle. Is the 35 machine going to make another entry and seeing what they can shake up a little bit?
It could. Maybe I'll have to come run some rear gunner for James.
Should be a lot of fun. Now speaking of, Carr was in the spectator area the entire race. I mean, kind of giving you some words of wisdom and motivation, and he was just straight up making fun of you at certain points. But how does it feel to have the guys out there, even when they're not on track, cheering you on and wishing you the best?
Well, I can tell you I'd rather be in James's spot in Spain than sitting in my office in my rig. So I hope James is having fun.
It's a tough life for him, isn't it? Well, David,
Yeah.
a great run tonight, fastest lap, absolutely ripping out there. The first driver into the 125s. I think you and Zepka were the only guy. It looks like I should tell him I've done it as well. So one of 3 drivers to even get into the 125s. A blistering fast pace and just a great performance all the way around in that breakfast for dinner back 35. Before I let you go, who do you want to give a shout out to that helped make this possible for you?
I'd like to thank my dog.
What's your dog's name? You have to do something more than that.
Jasper, my dog Jasper.
Well, a man of few words and many talents. David, congratulations to you and Jasper for bringing it home in second. A lot of fun, and best of luck in the season finale next week.
Thank you.
That was David Bauer bringing it home in second. Now, normally we would have the race winner here, but apparently Francois Schink, nobody has heard the magical voice of the Flying Canadian. I'm assuming French Canadian at this point, so I'm going to make that up. On behalf of Francois Schink, he would say merci beaucoup to all the fans that showed up, cheered on that number 18 machine. Francois very much keeping the points championships alive here in the Alpha Touring Challenge, and it is going to be a great season finale next week to see who can lock up the championship. On behalf of the Alpha Touring Challenge, as well as Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, it was Francois Schink in the top spot, David Bauer second, and Logan McKenzie rounding out the top three. We'll see you next week for the season finale, and we hope to have everybody back out on track and in the spectator area. Have a great night, everybody.